Bandwidth for all shows on the Aussie Tech Heads network is supplied by Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting. For a fast, affordable and reliable Australian server with fantastic support, contact Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting at aussietechheads.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's best hosting service. For the best prices for any kind of USB cables for your Nexus, Samsung, HTC or Sony mobile device, contact USB On The Go. They have free postage Australia-wide. You can find them at usbonthego.com.au. USB On The Go is a proud sponsor of the Aussie Tech Heads podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 353, Aussie Tech Heads, the 8th of August, 8th to the 8th, 2013, and it's another episode of news and views, and brought to you by a panel that is just, I don't know, sitting around, having a chat, all that sort of stuff. So thanks to our sponsors, as you heard at the top of the show, Aussie Tech Heads Hosting, which is aussietechheads.com.au/hosting, and also USB onthego.com.au. So we've got a winner this week for usbonthego.com.au competition. All you had to do was put a comment in the Facebook. So we'll get to them later on in the show. But for now, it's let's introduce who we have here tonight. So we've got William. Hello, Will. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Not too bad.
What have you been up to this week? Anything exciting?
No, just the usual week where nothing works properly. You know how it goes.
Now, yes, that's right. And then down there in cold Sydney town is Warlock. How you doing, Warlock?
Today was like coldest day we've had even through all of winter. It was freezing.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad here. It was nice here, actually. The hot wind. Yeah. So, yeah. And Shane, how you doing, Shane?
Good, Glenn. How are we, guys?
Good. Very, very good. Now, Shane, you have got some what's happened on this day in tech history from Tom Merritt's chronologically thing of tech.
Don't get too technical on us there, Glenn.
No, I try not to.
Yeah, keep it simple for us beginners.
All right. So you've got quite a few there, but you want to pick out, three? Which one?
Yeah, I actually didn't get them all in because I fell asleep last night when I was compiling it. But anyway, August the 2nd, 1880, Parliament officially adopted Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, as the official time of Great Britain. I don't know what it was before that. It doesn't say.
In 1880.
Where are we? August the 3rd, 1958, the nuclear submarine USS Nautilus became the first watercraft to reach the geographic North Pole. Commanding officer Commander William R. Anderson announced to his crew, "For the world, our country, and the Navy, the North Pole." That's what he said.
There you
go. Not as good as Armstrong and what he had to say when he got to the moon.
Small step for mankind.
Now,
that was good.
Let me throw something out there, a question out there. Now, Greenwich Mean Time. Now, I looked around the other day and there was something called Internet Time. What's Internet Time? Has anyone heard of Internet Time?
About 5:15.
Is it really? No, but has anyone heard of that? Is there some? I think it's been around for a little while, but I've just never really heard of it.
Willie was just saying.
What happened?
Aren't we switching away from GMT now as well? Isn't it all
it's UTC now?
UTC now, Universal Time or whatever it is.
And if you're in the military, it's Zulu time.
But is UTC the same as GMT, or is it? Yeah.
See, they've got here UTC is the same time. If the time is in Coordinated Universal Time, which is UTC, out of Z directly after the time with outer space, so it becomes UTC. Yeah, so basically it's the same as GMT, but you can also make it Zulu time, which is basically like 1200 hours or 1445 or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Internet time is a way to tell the time invented and marketed by Swiss watch company Swatch.
Of
The
course.
current internet time is the same all over the world. No time zones or daylight saving time adjustments. But only if you're
So what is
Scottish.
the current internet time?
So yeah, because
Whatever you want it to be.
I've often thought, wouldn't it be good to have a time? You'd have to obviously get really used to it, but like say, it was that where say it was 5 o'clock, but that 5 o'clock obviously was different. My brain melts. I can't understand it. You know what I'm trying to talk about anyway. It would be good to have a uniform time where if someone said, "Oh, meet me online at 5 o'clock internet time," you just knew when that was. And you knew what time of day it was. So you'd instantly go, you go, "Oh, meet me at 2 in the afternoon or 2 o'clock." You go, "Oh yeah, that'd be right. I'll be awake. No worries."
Yeah, I'm actually just looking up internet time, and you
It's on
probably
Wikipedia.
don't want to learn it. It looks incredibly complicated.
All right. Well, we'll leave him alone. We'll leave it well alone. All right. Well, let's kick off with a story because that's what we're here for. Now, this is all news that has taken place pretty much this week, and news that have tweaked our interest. And so we just grab what has interested us through the week, each of us, and we'll put them down and we'll discuss them.
I like getting my interest tweaked.
Oh yes, it's good.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, but clean.
And so look, where's my first one? Here's one for the Google Android people out there. Google introduces Android app for remote wipe, and also locating lost devices. A new app called Android Device Manager. Will help users locate or remotely wipe their lost or stolen phones. Apparently comparable to the Apple's Find My Phone. Android Device Manager isn't expected to be available to everyone until later this month, and all phones and tablets running the Android 2.2 Froyo platform and higher will receive the update. The app will allow users to make misplaced devices in earshot. Ring at maximum volume. If further away, the device can be located on a map in real time or wiped. How good's that?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit irrelevant because there's a app called Find Where's My Droid that has been around since version 1 of Android pretty much. Where's my camera?
Yep,
I don't know if you
there
can see that, but basically it does everything that does. It does a lot more if you pay for it. It's like $4 for the paid account, and does a whole heap more than that. But it's been around forever. You can even do things like take pictures remotely, so you can send it a code and it'll take pictures of the surrounding environment. It'll do live GPS tracking, so if the phone's been stolen, it's on the move.
Yeah, right.
So it's a great idea, but it's not a new idea.
It's another thing for Google to tick off the list of things what iPhones do, what Android don't do yet.
You probably find Google bought that company, and that's why they're just introducing it.
Oh, there's hundreds of those sort of companies. I've just happened to use that one because it's been so good. To be honest, I'm surprised it's taken so long for them to do that sort of thing as standard. All the back end is already there. That they only had to put a GUI on it, pretty much.
So that's all right. So it's is this like a bit of catch up? I thought there was a few things out there for Android to do this anyway. So
yeah,
they just want to have that.
It's been around since. Well, yeah. I mean, that particular one I'm using, the reason I continue, I mean, there are other ones out there. Reason I continue to use that one is because it's literally, when I got my first Android phone, it was what I used on it then. So it's just the same program I've used all the way through. So.
Yes. So but anyway, it's good to see that. So this one's actually coming from Google. That's the secret there. All right. So that's good. All right. Who else who's got something else? Let's Warlock. What do you got going? What do you got cooking down there?
Well, Microsoft is helping out people who had iCloud accounts because Apple has announced that a lot of people who are on iCloud are losing their free 20 gigs. So Microsoft says, why don't you come over to SkyDrive? I mean, not SkyDrive soon because that's going
something
away
else.
as a name as well. Now they've been sued for that. But Microsoft offers 15 gigs of free whatever SkyDrive is going to be storage for 1 year to people who used to be on the iCloud. So that might help them out. And who knows, maybe they'll be able to convert a few people over to the Microsoft side for something.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, so that's was that 20 gigs or 15 gigs? That's all right. That's all right.
15 gigs extra, yep.
Yeah.
It's only in England that they have to change the name, isn't it?
No.
Enigma was that band from the 1990s with the funky dance music.
What's that one?
Let's see.
I don't know.
Enigma.
Oh, right. Okay.
Um,
Will, what have you?
Straight over the head.
Will, what have you got? What interesting tidbits have you got?
Well, actually, this is a story I was reading yesterday, I believe, and it actually made me that hungry I had to go buy a hamburger, so maybe I'm weird. But basically, scientists serve up a $373,000 test tube burger. Effectively, in London, the researcher leader, Professor Mark Post, said that he demonstrated a proof of concept and cultured meat could cultured meat could realistically be on a supermarket shelves within 10 to 20 years. Basically, they took stem cells and turned them into whatever they did to end up making a meat patty. Apparently that, because it was pure meat and had no fat, of course, means it had no real taste. It pretty much was cardboard, because fat is where you get the flavour from. So, but apparently nobody died. So maybe there's something to be said for that. They're basically saying, and I don't think they're going crook about the meat itself being the problem, but they're saying, of course, PETA's got involved, the ethical treatment of animals and whatever they are, and basically saying that livestock production contributes 18% of greenhouse emissions and 27% of global water footprint and 33% of the global land use. Now, my argument is, why are they saying that when they're trying to protect animals? So basically,
isn't that
saying,
a good thing that they're doing what they're doing? Because, I mean, they're not killing the cow.
No, they're not killing the cow. They're just going to create methane, take up more land, and and increase emissions. But I mean, the cows are going to survive.
And the tech angle is it was mostly paid for by Sergey Brin from Google. He invested over $325,000 in the burger, and then didn't get to have any.
Oh wow! Now here's something for you to get your teeth around, and I wish Mark was on tonight. Bring him back, hey? Bring him back for an episode. Your phone is
back the Mark.
your phone is watching you, Shane. Why is my phone watching me?
Is that the FBI thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to follow on with this story from the story that Will did. Basically, it's a story about how the FBI can remotely activate microphones and cameras and record your conversation with Android phones. So it sounds like basically what they've done is they've taken the technology that either Google's just invented and about to release, or from one of the other companies that does it, since the thing that Will was talking about basically says you can send codes out to the phone and wild. Take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I'm guessing that's what the FBI are doing. They're probably just piggybacking on technology that's already out there. And it's just a story about how they're using Android phones to record conversations and basically snoop on people.
But I suppose
the only issue.
Yes, go, Will.
Sorry, Glenn. I was going to say, the only issue I have with this story is they're picking on Android. The fact that they've been doing it with iPhones for the last 5 years doesn't seem to be mentioned, as far as I can tell.
Oh, what do you think this is fair dinkum? I thought it was just all hocus pocus.
Yeah, no.
They can also do it with your house phone while it's on the hook. They can activate the microphone. That's no problem.
Well, I've heard.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, look, I've heard stories that they can also do something like activate the speaker on your TV and get it fed back, down the electricity lines or something. It sounds ridiculous.
No, they can't do that.
Well, who knows?
No, but I mean,
two-way device. Like a phone.
The thing is, with what people don't realise is, while your phone has power, it is capable of both transmitting and receiving data to some degree. A phone is still trackable if you've had the signal of a phone locked before the phone got turned off. Once the phone's turned off, it can still be tracked unless you pull the battery. Now, what really popular device is on the market that doesn't allow you to take the battery out? But whatever that may be, apparently it's been a huge target for quite a while.
So I don't know.
You mean the HTC One, which is an Android phone?
Leave my phone out of this.
To be honest, that would be one of the rare Android phones that you can't take the battery out of. I think I don't know of another one. I'm sure there probably is another one, but that's it's very rare that that's the case.
Now, while we're talking about phones, there's a new app turns iPads into POS devices. Now this company, Kunta, has launched a free app that turns any iPad...
Watch how you pronounce that.
What?
Punta-pos.
What is it? Kuntapos. Has launched a free app that turns any iPad or iPad mini into a cloud-enabled POS device. The application is free to download, and users must pay a monthly subscription fee to actually use it as part of their business process. What's so funny? I don't know. Anyway, the
counter. Counter.
Hey? Counter. Is that how you say it?
You know, like you have your cash register up on the counter.
Oh, okay.
Count.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was going to say, well, it's Kunta in a box. So the POS software reminds that takes me back to a Graham Kennedy moment there for some reason. Whew. But anyway, the POS software also integrates with payment and ordering services such as PayPal, Beat the Queue, and Xero. No pricing on the web page, so that's helpful, except for a $50 device fee. So you can get started for free, but no pricing. So what's going on there? So
they're not the first to do that, though, are they? I mean, PayPal's been doing that for a while. Some banks allow you to take photos of checks and to do like ING allows you to do direct transactions.
Yeah, I think this one, when you look at the web page, this one seems to be pretty well supported by the software. It's a very good, decent software behind it by the looks of it. There is another one I think we mentioned on the Aussie Mac Zone podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but it was an attachment to the iPad, which did it operate the till as well? I think it had a till attached to it, and apparently they're starting to sell in the Apple stores now. So looks like this space is starting to heat up. So if you're after POS devices, have a look at Counter, Kounta, in a box.
There is a Bluetooth draw system and point of sale system that has been available for mainly supported by Android, but it does work on Apple through a web interface. And it's the same sort of thing. It's a full-on point of sale solution with your cash register and everything built in, and uses a Bluetooth set of drawers. So you finalize the sale, pops the drawers out, put your cash in. It has the swipey thing for the FPOS and everything. So, no, it's good. It's good to see this sort of thing, especially, in my line of work, we're a very mobile business. 95% of our business is on the road. And with the solutions currently in place, we have to have a separate cash box. We've got a separate FPOS machine. We've got if we need to do up an invoice, we've got to either do up a handwritten invoice and then go back to the workshop and put it in, or we've got to like TeamView or something, back to the workshop to enter it. So having all that, it's getting to that point where that has to be a standard sort of a thing now, where all this technology, I mean, go and try and find, thanks for that, Glenn. Go and try and find a mobile printer. They're like $600 now just for a thermal printer that you can, strap to your belt or sit on the seat beside you and Bluetooth data to it. Now, go back 10 years to when, or even 15 years to when, the iPacs and the portable PDAs used infrared to the portable printers. The printers were like, $200. And everybody who would do a delivery had one. But that sort of technology's gone away, even though it's now to the point where really that's what we should be seeing more of.
Yeah, true. But so moving on from there. Well, actually, we'll stick with the mobile sort of theme, I suppose. Warlock, you've got a smartwatch. Smartwatches are still all the rage. Well, the
Pebble
potential.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Still all the rage.
Samsung is looking to bring out their own smartwatch, and according to seen patents, it's probably going to be called the Galaxy Gear. The Dutch website Galaxy Club spotted a trademark filing for a new line of devices called the Galaxy Gear. The company describes as wearable electronic devices in the form of a wristwatch, wristband, or band.
Well, I'm going to get confused with Google Gears. That's going to confuse me. So maybe there'll be a patent with that as well.
Reminds me of somebody trying to be a ventriloquist. Galaxy got all a gear.
Sweet. So, yeah, is this watch thing? It's going to happen. It's got so much momentum. It sounds like
Yeah,
it's
everyone's doing watches now. There's so many that are out there. There's even more Kickstarters that are available with different options. And of course, everyone knows there's the Pebble, which started all of this as the biggest one, and they got huge funding. But there's still a lot of people who pre-ordered those, and they're still waiting to hear anything back. But now they're mass producing them for Best Buy, so I think they've taken a bit of a back seat while they get the shops rolling out a lot of them now. So it's going to be interesting, but they're all going to be, $150 plus. So depends on how much you're into technology as to whether you're going to get one, I guess.
Are you going to
Do
get
you
one?
think they'll actually be popular? Because all the before all this hype started about iWatches and all that kind of stuff, I was seeing stories where, and if you just look just in the neighbourhood and the community and that, especially around the youth, not many people wear watches these days because they've all got the time on their phones.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That is very true because I've
They have
left
come up with something really compelling reason for people to want to get a watch. I mean, people have got Nike Fuel Bands, but they're really popular in the US, and apparently that kind of thing where it can tell you if it's connected to your heart rates and can tell how far you've moved via GPS and that sort of stuff. A lot of sports and exercising type people will get them. Same people who get the little pedometers and stick on the belt and then go for a walk. But I'm not really worried about that because my phone does it with the Runtastic app.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of those kind of things that'll also track it, upload it to websites and send it everywhere without having to pay extra money. So,
well, I just dug my watch.
Another little device.
I just dug my watch out of the drawer. It stopped. I haven't. That's how long since I've used it. I've always got my phone on me, so I've always got a clock. So,
I mean, I would wear a smartwatch insofar as, if you in my line of work, because the sex I'm on the road, I don't carry my phone in my top pocket because it gets damaged or it falls out. I carry it in my pocket or I leave it in the car. And if I had a smartphone that had caller ID, could tell me who was calling in. If they sent me a text message, I could just look at it instead of having to, grab my phone and whatever. Especially if it functioned like it had a decent LED on it for a torch. For me, and if it wasn't $400, if I'm talking a normal watch of $60 or $70, I mean, it hasn't got to be powerful. It's just got to be Bluetooth.
It'd be good for people who are like a mechanic or a chef or something where your hands are going to be covered in stuff all day and you get a message and you're like, do I need to go wash my hands and then dry them and then check my phone? No, there's nothing there. That's interesting. Put it back. So
especially if it's nice and flat, because now they can make those pretty flat screens. So if it's nice and flat and wraps nice and firm and it's not going to come off or get caught on anything. As long as the battery life, I mean, you charge your phone every night, so there's no problem charging your watch every night. You throw it onto one of those electronic charge pads, so you don't actually have to plug it in. And with the option now for having, you can dictate, you can talk to your phone and it converts to text and things like that. So there's no reason you can't send text messages and stuff. I mean, the processing power is handled by your phone. The watch is just effectively a second screen. I think in that application, I think it's great. Instead of trying to make it its own separate thing.
And particularly if it's something like the Moto X, which is always listening for a particular phrase, and you could just say, Google now, send text to Will. Hi, Will, I'm going to be late this afternoon from Jason. Send yes.
Yeah.
And do you find that more and more people are wearing watches on their right hand? What's going on? You wear them on your left hand, not your right hand.
That's right. Yeah, but see, they're not really watches now, are they?
It goes left, right.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, now
spectacles. What's the Austin Powers thing? Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. I mean, you get that completely wrong if you're wearing it on your right hand.
Yeah, doesn't work.
All right.
What?
Yeah. Okay. No worries, Will.
Yeah. When you cross yourself, Austin Powers does. Yeah. But anyway.
Oh, I see. Okay. I've got it. I got to see what you're doing.
We see. Will. Sounds very interesting.
Shut up.
Oh, I get what
you're bringing that up tonight.
I'm going now. I'm taking my watch and I'm going home.
No, don't. You're streaming.
All matters.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You are right. I mean, I haven't worn a watch since I left school was the last time I actually wore a watch. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's cheap and usable, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, now, for those of you who don't live in Queensland, well, you're pretty cold.
Shame on you.
That's right.
No, good luck to you. Best of luck. Get out. The less the better.
Now you would have maybe have heard about this health payroll debacle that's been going on across governments for a few years now. Where how is this? So what happened? That the health system had a payroll. They decided to update it. They hired IBM to update it, and it was just a botch up job. It was supposed to cost 200 million, but to date it's cost 1.2 billion. Like, what an absolute joke. Now, anyway, the Queensland government is considering whether or not it should ever contract IBM again, following the release of a report of this payroll project. Now, the Richard Chessman report, and there's a link in there. You can find out. You can read that whole report if you so desire. One lonely night by yourself. And see what that has to say. Now, you can read the report. It's the Richard Chesterman report. So just go to aussietechheads.com.au/podcast and just navigate there to the show notes. IBM argued when the system went live, it had hindered. IBM argued when the system went live, it was hindered primarily through business processes and data migration issues outside of its contractual and practical control. I mean, seriously, 1.2 billion, that's immense. IBM says reports that suggested that price tag to the remedy to the Queensland health payroll system was completely incorrect. IBM's fees was 25.7 million. That's a lot left. To be going somewhere if it didn't go to them. So IBM's fees, 25.7 million, accounted for less than 2% of the total amount. The balance of costs is made up of work streams which were never part of IBM's scope. The Queensland government was considering what action it could take against IBM, but the previous government had waived all the legal rights to claim damages for some reason. I'm not sure. I wasn't across that part then. But it's just a balls up from start to finish. IBM was banned, and this is incidentally, IBM was banned from seeking new business with the US government in 2008 after it was alleged to have violated procurement rules when bidding for a contract for the US Environmental Protection Agency. So the ban lasted a whole 7 days. So that obviously worked. They're probably, no more computers for you? Okay, we'll lift that ban. So, yeah, what a mess this thing is. Like 1.2 billion.
Hang on. We're talking the healthcare payroll debacle, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that all started because the government went, hey, the payroll system we've got now is working perfectly. Let's make a cock-up of it by getting this system that we're told that won't work and told doesn't support shift work and told won't do what we want it to do, and let's put it on and see what happens. I mean... Yeah. The Queensland government started the entire cock-up, and now they're blaming IBM.
Yeah. Well, obviously, the idea was that IBM was to supply something that would work. Like, you're not going to go purposely to cock something up and spend 25 million, or presumably.
Well, they were, because the software they originally got was from Germany. The engineers that they bought it from said, this software will not work for your application. We will not warranty it. We will not guarantee it. And we're telling you right now, it will fail. So that's actually the legal statement that was put in court when they were, basically tried to be fined. They said, no, this is what we told them. And the government went ahead and did it anyway.
Because as far as I know, I'm pretty sure there's still pay slips going on still that are still not right.
Yep. And a friend of mine, she has since been put off with the whole reshuffle thing, which she was been waiting to happen because she wanted to get out of there. But she's been put off since that. She has a ridiculous amount of money still being owed to her, and they sent her group certificate the other day, which is from about 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's hopeless.
So, seriously, just take responsibility. You cocked up. Yep, no worries. Let's turn around, fix it, and we'll blame you later.
But they would have been better off to just to go back to the old one. Like, just suck it up.
Yeah, but they couldn't, see, because then they would admit that they were wrong.
But it's a different government. It's a different government now. But
they paid all these engineers, and IBM was part of that, to fix this software to make it work, to do what the old software was doing that didn't cost them anything.
Yeah. All right. Shane, what Chinese, what are they doing? They're up to no good.
Allegedly, yeah. Let me go to that story.
The Chinese hackers up to no good?
What's up with that?
Allegedly. Chinese hackers have been caught hijacking a decoy US water plant. So basically, what this story goes on to say is that the US have set up a decoy water plant, and the Chinese hackers have been harassing the US in a series of cyber attacks. But we've started trying to talk it out. Excuse me. Story goes on to say that Kyle Wilhoit, a researcher with security company Trend Micro, explained the details of the whole thing at the Blackout conference on Wednesday. The hackers that attacked the honeypot are known as APT-1 or Comment Crew, and have been tracked back to the Chinese army. And that's pretty much the guts of the story.
Yeah, right. Well, it's always been, it's long rumoured, isn't it, that the Chinese are are in the back end of everything, so to speak. But yeah, we'll see how
for a country that's got such a giant firewall that doesn't allow you to do anything, they seem to be able to do a fair bit.
Yeah, I think some of them have got the password. Now listen. Look, a couple of quick shout outs. One shout out to the guys at somewhere. Where are they? Pod Socks. Is that them? Hang on. Let me go back to me at the top of me page. That's them. Pod Socks. PODDSOCKS. So they sent me an email through the week. Good on you guys. And they said, "Oh, listen, we've got this little podcast going. It's a weekly Australian podcast where people sit down and have a conversation, summarising the week at hand, reviewing entertainment ideas, conspiracies, life, death, and hopefully having some fun along the way. So if you want a bit of a comedy podcast, go and check those guys out. It sounds good. It's not safe for work, but it sounds good. So Ben, Chris, Jack, Nathan, how you doing? All right, just Google them and you'll come across them, hopefully. And it's podsocks.com, pod with a double D. All right, I'm sure you can handle that. Now
I got to watch episode 38. There's a picture of Dr. Emmett Brown on there, and it's called Time Traveling. So I'm going to be watching that one.
You'll be into that one,
just for no other reason than that.
All right. Now, for those of you who do listen to the Aussie Mac Zone podcast, which is goes out live Tuesday nights, aussietechheads.com.au/live, and is also available in the iTunes and on YouTube and off the webpage or at aussiemaczone.com.au. It's everywhere. So IT Help for You, that's the sponsor of that show. They're actually trying to get together a crew to go and see the preview of Jobs the movie. Now, Michael down there at ithelpforyou.com.au, he's trying to put together, he's gone to the theatres and they're trying to put together a little package and so forth. So he just wants to get some ideas. So he's down he's IT Help for You's in Penrith, but the event cinemas at Top Ride is where this is going to happen. So if you're down that way and you think that'd be a good idea to probably do a bit of networking, get together with some other guys and enjoy the movie with a group, go to ithelp4u.com.au and fill in the little form there. I think it looks like tickets are about $15. I think Warlock, you said you were thinking about joining up.
Yeah, I think for $15, why not? It'd be great to get out, have a chat with some people. As you know, I saw Michael last weekend and had a bit of talk to him about his company there and computers in general. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, you're going to see the movie anyway, so it's $15. So you might as well, go and have some fun with some other dudes and
see Mr. Kutcher.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Let's get it off iTunes. I'm sure it'll be on there.
Oh, in time.
The trailer looks pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting I'd like it, but
apparently was a bit upset because the first preview they released of it was Steve Jobs telling Wozniak what a personal computer is all about and how they're going to change the future by him getting Woz to make one.
Nice.
That's not how it happened.
No, I don't think so. Now, I've listened to Steve's book, so half of it. I haven't got back to that book since
that'll be the Aaron Sorkin version. Is going to be based on the book.
Spoiler alert: he dies.
That was the best thing I was waiting for. That was the climax. I mean, come on.
I'm not watching it now. That's it.
Now we know how it ends.
Yeah,
What's the point?
pointless.
It's been spoiled.
The butler did it.
Yeah, now, and also USB on the go. Now they sponsor our show, so thanks very much. USBonthego.com.au. Now they've got what have they got? They got UTG cables, on the go cables. OTG cables, on the go cables. They got little USB chargers for the car, all this sort of stuff. So go and check that webpage out. Now, last week we asked you, and every week we had been asking you if you wanted to win a cable. This week it was. Then we have a winner this week who put up on the Facebook page that he likes us very much. So thank you, Matt. And we'll give you a message and you can tell us your details. All right. So we're just going to have a little break from the giveaways for the moment, but we'll be back with them pretty soon. So Matt, good on you.
I have to say one thing too with the OTG stuff. There's a cable they do. It's a Y cable, plugs into the back of your phone, into the mini USB port. And then it splits off, and one is a USB and one is a female, like the same plug that's on the back of your phone. That thing makes my life so easy at work because people bring their stuff in from their jobs. My phone is constantly being used. I plug my charger into one end of the cable. I plug the card reader, the multi-card reader into the other end, and I can do USB, micro SD cards. The full spectrum plus external hard drives, so my phone doesn't go flat, and I can access my data, and I never run out of either. And that one cable has made my life so much more convenient. You don't even know how good that cable is.
It pays for itself.
Yeah, and so what are the cables worth? It's probably only like less than $4. Something
like that, and it saved me. I don't know how many hours in manpower.
And also if you do buy from usbonthego.com.au, they free postage straight wide. So do that.
Yep.
Do that. Now Warlock
and quick.
Yeah.
It gets here so quick. I couldn't believe how fast. Well, you order it. I mean, it may not be the case all the time, but I've had it turn up next day.
That's all right.
If you order it in the morning one day, you'll get it the next day sometimes.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Australian.
You're going to go through Australia Post. I think that's fantastic.
It is.
I can send a letter from one side of Brisbane to the other and get it next month.
Now, I think Warlock YouTube are geeking out.
For Geek Week, they've got a bit of a geek surprise. If you go to a YouTube page and type, not in the address bar or search bars or anything, but just click on the page and type the letters 1337, which spells LEET, it'll change all of the comments on the page to LEET Speak. So if you don't understand it, check it out and have a look for a bit of a fun surprise there. Google are well known for their Easter eggs, such as asking the Google search engine to do a barrel roll and gravity and Zerg attacks and that sort of thing. So this is just another one to add to the list for the Funky Geek guys.
Yeah, nice work. Now, while we're speaking of YouTube, I think, Shane, you had a story that incorporated a YouTube video. Did you not?
I did.
IKEA? Was that you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
All right.
I don't know what you mean now.
What's all that about?
I'm hanging out for the catalog. Actually, I can't wait to see if this actually works. IKEA has a new app which basically transports furniture right into your living room. So basically, the idea is, and yeah, there's a YouTube video there that kind of shows you how it works. But you get the 2014 catalog, which apparently is on its way out because I've seen ads on the TV. You open it up to whatever item that you want to actually look at. Put it somewhere in your room. Download the app. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head whether it's iPhone and Android or just iPhone. But you point it at the catalog, and it superimposes, or what's the word?
Yeah, superimpose.
Yeah, superimpose.
Yeah, superimpose. That'll do. Superimposes the actual piece of furniture in the room.
Augmented reality.
That's the one I was thinking of, augmented reality, yeah.
Yeah, so like, if for those on the video, those on the audio, we actually are just watching the video as we go along here, and it does look...
it's hilarious.
It looks quite neat, doesn't it? And but I see...
It's actually quite clever. I mean, there have been apps that have added this stuff to photos for a while, but the fact that somebody's actually using it for a purpose rather than just adding...
You can see what they're going to look like in your house. Yeah, that's great.
There's Samsung there. So
in the future, it's going to be even better than that because everybody's going to have their own 3D printer and you'll print out stuff that you want in your house. You just download it, the
Well, actually,
schematics, install
print
it
it
in
out.
your printer, and then boom, there it is.
Mm.
They're doing that in the US, apparently. The printer places where you go to get your pages printed and your catalogs and your brochures now installing 3D printers so that you could go to one location and scan something in for your friend and somebody on the other side of the world or the country can print it out into a 3D printer and get the same object.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
And it's funny, actually, you should mention 3D printers because there's actually a rifle maker in Canada who has tested and test-fired the world's first 3D rifle. Now, we heard about them making a 3D gun a couple of weeks back on the show, but this guy, he basically makes a replica 22 rifle, and he managed to fire, he fired 14 rounds before the plastic barrel actually weakened and split. Now, that's not bad out of something that's made of effectively plastic. With the amount of pressure going through that gun is amazing. Which, on the other hand, I guess it's kind of scary now that you can print your own rifle, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's neat, and in some respects, it opens up a lot of, freedom for a lot of people. But, obviously, if you took that plastic barrel off and put a metal barrel on this thing, obviously something else would fail, but you'll get a lot more than 14 shots out of it.
Mm. Yeah, look, I don't know about printing guns. I think it's wrong. I think it's
I
wrong.
don't have a problem with it. I mean,
sorry, Warlock.
it's if you're living out.
Sorry,
go Warlock.
Go Warlock. Go.
Something else interesting I saw this week is there was a company who will do your wedding and birthday cakes objects. You know how people always have a bride and a groom stuck on the top and they're generic? Well, you can actually go into their business. They'll scan the bride in her dress and then they'll scan the groom and then do a 3D printing of that person and then paint up the colors and painting their clothes. And so you've got the actual bride and groom figurines of the real people sitting on top of the cakes.
Yeah, right.
I think
Wow.
that's a really good really good idea, really good use of 3D printing there. You could do that for the kids.
Yeah.
And they have their birthday, print the kids on there, or put the whole family there if you're having something like that. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's the new family stickers. It's the family things, 3Ds.
Given that you can build a 3D printer for not that much money, a couple of grand, I think buying the plastic to feed it is probably the dear part. But these days, I mean, that's how they started. They started off as a home, I can't remember who made it, but they started off making
Make a bot.
right. Yeah, and then it's now become a commercial thing, but it's one of those things that started off as something to do in your backyard, and it's been turned into a commercial enterprise. It's quite interesting, and it doesn't cost much to make a printer, really. You can get, with all the components now have come down to a reasonable price. I think last time I priced it was like $600 to make one.
Yeah, a lot of people who are coming up with ideas for new products and stuff that want to do a prototype, they just get a 3D print out of it, which can be done in a few hours, and then they've got it. They can try it out, try different shapes, sizes, and what it might look like. And then rather than submitting it to a company after you design it in your 3D thing and then wait till they get around to actually fabricating it and send it back to you, which costs thousands and thousands of dollars, they can just quickly whack you out one in a few hours.
And that's the other thing with it too, is that like I saw one guy, he printed off, your shifting spanners, that you can change the size on the jaw. He printed that straight off and it worked. You didn't have to assemble it. It scrolled and adjusted the size straight off the production bench. So not only are you minimising prototyping costs, you're also minimising time and labour on assembly costs.
But with the screwing straight off the printer, it wouldn't have been printed assembled though, would it?
Yeah, printed fully assembled as is. Because of the way the printer works, it's able to hit and miss as it prints, and because it hit and misses, it just doesn't print where it doesn't want plastic.
Yeah, wow. So it's got a bit of metal, and then it's got the screw thing that goes through it.
No, it's all plastic.
Oh well, plastic. Sorry, but the shifter that you're talking about, it's got the screw thing, so it can print. So it can print inside a tunnel, so to speak.
Because how does it do the little screw?
Sorry?
Yeah, you can because of the way it works. You can, as say you've got the thread.
Yes.
There's obviously, even on a very tight tolerance thread, there's an air gap between the thread of the bolt and the thread of the nut.
Yes.
So because these things print in such a small micron scale, it's able to print the top of the thread on the bolt, leave an air gap, and print the equivalent gap on the nut. So it's quite amazing how they work. I was watching, a YouTube video that it went for like 2 hours. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just watch the first 5 minutes and I'll get the idea. I watched the entire video. I think I watched it twice. It was just so amazing how these printers work.
Yeah, that's wild. That just blew my mind, Will. That is wild. Now, if you're in Adelaide, get ready for a boost of Wi-Fi. Internode has won a $1.5 million deal to more than double Adelaide's free Wi-Fi coverage in what could be the world's largest CBD-wide outdoor public wireless network. Good on you, Adelaide. Work on the network has already begun and is expected to be wrapped up early next year. It's expected that Adelaide Free, that's what it's called, Adelaide Free, will cover about 97% of the northern CBD from Wakefield and Googa Street to North Terrace and provide extensive external coverage to the southern half of the CBD. When completed, Adelaide Free would offer faster internet access than is currently available over mobile networks in the area. So that's all right, isn't it? All those over there? Cool. They will probably slow down as people jump on.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'll be great for the first month until they decide it's costing them a fortune to get the back end up, so they drop the speed.
Yeah, that's right. And NBN Co. apparently in caretaker mode. So as we know, there's an election that's on somewhere around the place. Now, NBN Co. will shift into caretaker mode with other government agencies, but may continue some promotional activities right through to the election. I didn't know that I wasn't aware that the companies as such, or the government departments, yes, but the companies as such also stood down in caretaker mode. Such things as deferring significant appointments, which means the vacant top job won't be filled until after the election. Now, spokeswoman confirmed business as usual activities, such as the network rollout, would continue, thank goodness. And it might blow out for another 7 years if it stopped. And it appears that may cover some marketing promotional activity, blah, blah, blah. There are also rules for social media use. The Facebook page has been deactivated. And it says and also on Twitter, it's that Twitter will be wound down or become less active. So I went to the Facebook page and it's gone. That's wild.
Take a break, guys. Come back in a few months.
Yeah,
I've never heard of such thing.
They're trying to make people think they're doing something. There's actually a guy and he does it every day. I've got photos of it for just about every day in the last 2 weeks. He goes to the pit at the end of the street. He lifts the telecoms pit, puts a barricade around it with a big NBN sign, steps back 3 feet, takes a photo, takes the sign off, takes the cage off, puts the cover back on and walks away. He's done it every day for 2 weeks so far.
What's he doing that for?
I'm assuming it's to say that, this is a new pit that we're doing here. Look, we're extending out here. I don't know. It's the same pit at the end of the street. He takes the same photo. It's hilarious. I've got photos of it, catalogued for the last 2 weeks. I'm like, wow, what on earth?
So when's it coming to your way, Will?
Oh, I don't know, 3042 or something.
So, but isn't it up?
It's not even on the proposed.
Oh, I thought it was up near your way. It's up in Goodman.
It is both ends. It stops about 200 metres in both directions. I've got it coming from the Ipswich side. It stops at the railway line, which is about 200 metres.
Oh, you're joking.
Coming from the Redbank side, it stops just over the back of the hill, which is about 300 metres. And coming from the backside at Swanbank, it stops on the other side of the highway, which is about 200 metres.
Oh,
so literally, it stops in all directions about 200 metres from my house.
Oh, you poor thing. I'd be spewing. That'd be doing my head in. That'd be crazy.
What a geographical oddity, 200 metres from everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Does that make me in the middle of nowhere?
What about you, Warlock? You're in Sydney, so you probably got Buckley's. of getting that
Yeah,
anytime
that's
soon.
right. Yeah, they're going to the next suburb
Yeah.
and a few suburbs around, but we're not on the list
On the
to
radar.
be.
And Shane, you're in Perth, so you wouldn't be on the radar either.
No, the only places that I got it at the moment are Mandurah, where we're contemplating moving to, but not for the NBN. Geraldton, which is like a big regional thingy about 5 hours north of Perth. But yeah, as far as my suburb goes, yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
So if you, well, I would say now, like when I moved to this house where I am now, internet was a big factor. whether I moved here or not, so
were you married at the time?
Yes. But and it so happened that I knew the house that we're in now, before we bought it, it had a contract on it as well with someone else, and
Not the mafia, I hope.
Oh, I hope not. And I know that it fell through because the guy couldn't get internet. He couldn't get cable here. Because he rang him up and they wouldn't give him cable. They said, no, you're not in the serviced area. So he actually got rid of the house. He declined the contract. He got rid of it. He didn't proceed. So to tell you the story about why I'm here. Well, yeah, I came and I found out that you could get cable because we're on a corner. And what happened is he said, okay, can I get cable at this address? And they said no. But I thought, well, hang on, cross the road. Like cross the road can get it. The bloke next door can get it. Across that way can get it, and the bloke behind me can get it. So I said, all right, well, how about I gave Telstra my corner address, so not my address, but the other address that faces the corner. And they, oh yeah, you can get that. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. So I rang up and got it. But I don't know. Will, like next time you would move, being so close, I would imagine that you would move somewhere. That would be a factor, wouldn't it, for you?
Yeah, I mean, I got cable here, which is just manageable. It depends. I mean, if I'm going to pay an extra $200 a week, no. But if I can find somewhere that is within the next 12 months of me moving there, is going to be part of the NBN, and it's reasonable cost, and it's sort of the house we're looking for, well, I don't see why. I'm not going to say no.
No. Yeah.
But I just went to the NBN Co website as well because I'm trying to find their rollout plan. And it says the Australian government entered a caretaker mode on Monday 5th. NBO is subject to caretaker conditions. During this caretaker period, NBN Co will continue to implement the current government broadband policies, but observing those convictions at all time, our website will provide updates periodically. So I thought, okay, cool. So I went to the boundaries, the PDF file that you download that tells you the boundaries of where all the places are going to be. And it's a MIDI file.
What?
It was a zipped file. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
You probably can't see that on the stream. If you look, you'll be able to see it. I just opened the zip and it has a MIDI file.
Oh,
it's in like a sound file.
As in a sound MIDI file.
Does it sound good?
So good to see they're keeping their website up to date.
It might have been Quigley's Last Dance. Or something. And what happened?
That was interesting.
Did you play it?
The chicken dance. No.
No, I'm not going to play it in case it puts out like a 50,000 hertz through the stream or something.
You never know your luck.
Send all our listeners deaf. That'll go down well. That'll be the end of the show then, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it'll be all downhill after that.
Oh, yeah. And
but actually...
yeah.
No, you go.
I was going to move on. So
so sorry.
Oh, okay, move on. What do you?
I was going to say, seeing as Eric's not here this week, I'll just tell him how good the Android devices are. Android extends the lead over iPhone 5. Android smartphones have increased the global market share as iPhones lose ground. The market share for smartphones running Android grew to 79.3%, while iPhone slipped to 13.2%. Now, those of you who are good at maths, who is obviously more than me, will realise that's like, what's that, 70, like 80, 97% or something, which basically means all that's left is Windows smartphone. Now, apparently Windows showed the biggest jump, hitting 3.7% of the market share. So Windows is now coming third over BlackBerry, which is 2.9%, and Nokia, which is 1 point something percent.
Yeah. Oh, Nokia,
so
remember Nokia? They used to be the kings, didn't they? They used
What I was
to,
going to say, within 6 years, Nokia went from 98% to 1%.
yeah, they used
Nokia have got partnership with Microsoft and have Windows phones too.
Mm.
And yet
Yeah,
they're
but
down.
I think they're taking that. That's the reason they're still 1%.
Yeah. Now, here's another story that both Shane and Warlock have got. So, oh, geez, how are we going to sort this one out? How about Shane? You can
Rock,
start.
paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
IINet. What's happening?
Well, this is actually a follow-on from Warlock's story last week about how Telstra were banned from buying Adam I think they're based in South Australia and the Northern Territory. So I had a feeling this would happen, but yeah, basically it's official now that IINet swooped in and bought the company.
They borged it.
They borged it.
They call it II Borg.
Oh, okay. So it looks like here they've paid 60 million. Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, it takes them up to 900,000 customers or something, I think the story says.
Yeah, right. Telstra decided not to go ahead with its takeover of Adam Internet. IINet has stepped in.
Not to, thanks to the ACCC blocking them.
Yeah.
But how does
That's
that?
a good decision. Good decision.
But how does that work if someone else has stepped in? Like, is that because Telstra is too
Because
big?
it's the amount of market share it'll leave you with.
Yeah,
If it leaves
right.
you with an excessive market share, because
Yeah.
IINet was a smaller company to start with, they don't have that problem.
Why can't they have as much teeth to get their teeth stuck into the petrol prices? You know, they're telling companies they can't buy
Because
this.
then the government can't say Telstra is the best if they let other people have more shares in Telstra.
Under the agreement, IINet will acquire the Adam 70,000 customers. So that's not too many. Located primarily in South Australia and the Northern Territory. A new data centre, DSLAM equipment and fibre network infrastructure. Well, a new data centre. Isn't everything going NBN? Oh, I don't know. I can't.
Well,
keep
yeah,
up
but I
with
mean,
it.
you're still going to need data centers and stuff. Like, it's still something that's not going to fade away.
Yeah, but I thought that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm. Yeah.
They host websites. You might have heard of web hosting.
Oh, that's that new thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, it's on the cloud.
Yeah. Oh, don't start that
Up in the
again.
sky.
All right, Warlock, did you have any more stories, or you come to the end?
So I do, yeah.
Ooh,
Legendary
more. Good,
game
good, good,
programmer John Carmack from ID Software and Doom is officially joining the Oculus Rift team as the new CTO. Awesome. John co-founded ID Software, serves as lead programmer on Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and Quake series. Is one of the pioneers of 3D graphics. When he's not working on revolutionizing video games or computer graphics, it can be found coding at Armadillo Aerospace.
Wow.
So now he's going to be the CTO there, which is going to be very interesting for the upcoming 3D games, I would imagine.
That will be very cool.
He's the best one to have there, right?
Oh, he was fantastic at what he did. Some of the stuff he did. He revolutionized the industry in so many ways.
Achtung, baby.
That's it.
Hail, Hitler, hail. Yeah, I remember the old Apple II Wolfenstein. Oh, I loved it. Yeah, Will?
It didn't matter what you played it on, it was the same game. It wasn't like it changed with different consoles.
Oh, but the graphics did. I liked
They went from bad to really bad, but I mean, there wasn't much difference.
I liked the 2D.
Well, it wasn't. It was the first multi-directional, or what do I call it? Yeah, multi-directional 2D. It was actually still 2D, but it was, it gave you the appearance of 3D. So it wasn't actually a 3D game.
I think it was also, geez, I can't remember, but geez, I haven't played a game for years, but remember most of the games you used to be able to, it was the AZ left, right arrow to move.
Back in the old days.
Yeah, back in the old days, then spacebar to fire or whatever. But I think,
loved me Pong, I did. I like to have a good Pong in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, didn't it rip? Now you can, and I think Wolfenstein, and then there were some games that used I think it was it WZA and D or something?
WASD keys.
Yeah, and that was
pretty much every game since Wolfenstein has used those keys.
Yep.
Yeah, because I couldn't work out why would they want to use those keys and not the AZ left right, which I found a lot easier.
You can change it to whatever you want. The
These
theory
days
is
you
if
can.
you're using WASD for your other options, you've got Control, Alt, Spacebar, Shift, QE. You know, you've got all these other keys around
Yep.
that you can use for one hand for playing, and you,
Oh,
especially
jeez.
once the game's got a bit more developed, where you use the mouse a lot more. So you had one hand on the keyboard that you didn't have to move, and
Yeah,
the other
okay.
hand on the mouse.
I get it now, but see, I'm not
There was
into...
actually a game. There was a game before Wolfenstein 3D. I don't know if any of you guys. I'd be really happy if you got any of you know what it's called. It was brought out before Wolfenstein 3D. It was basically a maze that was even less 3D than Wolfenstein. You guys, any of you guys know what it was called?
Oh, no. More information? Have
No?
you got some? A
Well, if I
maze?
give you any more information, you'll pick it. It was called Ken's Labyrinth.
Oh.
Oh, vaguely
And-
remember that from a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually probably the very first start of that era.
Yeah, right. I don't think I've even heard of that. I'm just looking for a picture. Oh, but you're talking...
2008.
Hey?
Hey,
2008, it says.
what?
That's
that was
new.
a
Ken's
upload.
Labyrinth.
Sorry. No, that was an upload.
Is that the one?
Doesn't say
yeah.
what date it was from.
That's not...
Yeah, that's Ken's Labyrinth.
But I'm talking about...
It's
I thought you meant like earlier than the old two...
Released 1993.
yeah, that's better.
Oh, 93.
It's from Epic Mega Games.
It was,
93.
and it was, yep. And then of course when they brought out things like Doom, they had the hark, and even in Duke 3D, they hark back to Wolf 3D because they actually had hidden levels of Wolf 3D in the current like Doom and Duke 3D style.
Well, this is the Wolfenstein I'm talking about. That one.
Yeah, the old Wolf. Oh, you're talking about that one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
scroller.
Yeah, and so I think that might have been... I see the stairs that's going... Oh, yeah, jeez, I love that game. That
That's
was
the
good.
side scroller. That's entirely different again.
That's what? What'd you say?
Well, top down. That's
Yeah.
a whole different game again. That's
Yeah.
a platform game. That's like Jazz
Donkey Kong.
Jackrabbit and Jill of the Jungle and Donkey Kong and all those.
Well, that's when I came into computer games, playing, that Wolfenstein with the... Yeah, geez, that was good. Now, I'd like to get an Apple emulator. Where are we going to go? I think we're just at the end of the show. Has anyone else got any more stories?
I've got one really quick one. And I would have it up except that link that just come through when I was top of it. Basically, Apple launches. You know how the last couple of weeks we've been talking about the Apple chargers being a bit flaky occasionally.
Yes.
So
Killing
Apple
people.
actually launches a charger trade-in program, basically saying that Apple began investigating reports, and beginning August 16th, people with counterfeit or third-party power adapters will be able to swap them for certified Apple models for $10.
That's good,
So
eh?
go and buy yourself a $1 power pack off eBay
Okay.
and take it into Apple and get yourself a genuine one for $10, and you'll still come out paying less than half price.
Yeah. Look, I think that's good. That's a good move from Apple. That's very, I think, I don't know. That's a lot of goodwill in that. That's responsible. And I like...
It's not. They've just
It is.
suddenly sold another $100 million in merchandise.
Yeah, but they didn't have to sell for
That's all
$10.
it is.
But they didn't have to sell for $10, did they?
No, but because they are, it's going to, they're still making $9.95 out of that. It's
Yeah.
not like they're losing money on it.
Oh, look, well, no, I'd be surprised if they did any deal that they made any deals to lose themselves money. But I think that's good. Good on them. Good on them. Well, yeah, they make money in the process, but
Very
they...
clever marketing.
Yeah, it is. It's taking a situation. I wouldn't call it, well, not a bad situation for them because they had nothing to do with it, but a situation and turning it around to their benefit.
Yeah. It's
I
taking
think the
bad
problem,
publicity.
the reason that they got electrocuted because they weren't holding it right.
Oh, is that right?
Well, maybe they were, I guess.
Well, it's this new adapter thing is just a lot of Apple goodwill that makes it really good. Will.
Yeah, that's right, Will. All right, Shane. Did you have any more, or you're out?
Applesauce.
You're gone.
No, I'm done.
You're gone. Warlock
It's good for me.
and Will.
I better leave something for next week, I suppose.
All right. So, Will, where can people contact you if they so desire?
On Twitter at Mr. Tompkinson. You can follow me on Twitter. You can get me on Facebook at just look at William Tompkinson on there, or you can get me through the Aussie Tech Heads page, or you can email me will@aussietechheads.com.au.
And Warlock, where can people find you nice and easy?
On the Twitters, WAULOK Warlock, or Jason at aussietechheads.com.au.
Shane-O.
You can get me on Twitter at Shane1973, Shane with a Y, and you can also email me at shane@aussietechheads.com.au.
Good stuff. And you can find me and follow me at Aussie Tech Heads on don't forget the Facebook at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Don't forget YouTube. Can everyone please subscribe to the youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads page, please? Because what we do, we need 100 subscribers. And once we get to the 100 subscribers, we might be able to bring you some YouTube live streaming, eh? So,
Yeah.
so we're nearly there. So make up a few fake accounts and subscribe.
Well, I got 5 on there, so.
Oh, good. So, and where else? So that's all. Don't forget the webpage, aussietechheads.com.au/podcast is the webpage. The hosting, if you're looking for a nice little hosting package to host your website, fast Sydney servers, aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. Thanks to Brad and techwebcast.info, his show we replay every Thursday night before the live show. For the people who want to jump into the aussietechheads.com.au/live lounge and virtually sit around and chat and be happy and spruik happiness and fairy dust all over the virtual place.
Be happy.
It's Warlock's job to vacuum, so don't go too crazy. And what else is there? Don't forget the AussieTechRadio.com. New shows every Thursday, Friday.
Ish.
Yes, every Thursday night. So
End of the week, something.
yeah, no point in going Thursday. We'll say Friday. So new shows of all the shows that are on. If they've published a new episode in the previous week, Aussie Tech Radio, it's on there. And look, if there's any game podcasters listening to me, can you? I mean, you want your show on Aussie.
Emails.
Read your emails, number one. And if you're interested in having your podcast on the AussieTechRadio.com, please send me an email because I'd like to put it on. Look, I know
That's just not gaming companies. That's any tech-related or any interesting, really, podcast, Australian podcast.
Yeah, loosely, it's Aussie Tech Radio. So tech or loosely
tech-ish.
tech. Yeah. You can.
I mean, I guess by default, if you're doing a podcast that is tech, I suppose. So, you know.
That's right. Well, I suppose so. Yes, but it's got to be half clean. It can't be, dirty. So it's got to be clean. All right. So if you got one of those, yeah, I'd like to have a chat to you. So don't forget our usbonthego.com.au. Go and have a look at them if you're after OTG cables.
OTG.
What am I thinking? Where's this U coming from?
Yeah, with OTG. Yeah, you know me.
So they should do that as their theme song, eh?
Yeah, that's their new theme. That's it.
Yeah.
Quick.
And now,
Get on that.
and that's about the end of the show because I'm just about out of bandwidth. I've hit me 200 gig for the month, and so I'm just about finished. So I've got to wait till Sunday. So thankfully we got the show in, and thanks for downloading. Thanks for watching on YouTube for those that do that. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Like our Facebook page. Do all the good stuff. Give us some loving, and we'll see you next week as well. Okay, bye for now. Ta-da.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night.
Bye, and good night.
Bye.